This broadcast is copywritten by the SAGU Sports Network for the private use of our audience. Any other use of the broadcast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the SAGU Sports Network consent is prohibited.
Hello and welcome to beautiful Lumpkin Stadium here in Waxahachie, Texas. You are watching the SAGU Sports Network. I am Adam Ferguson, joined by my partner, as always, Tim Roberts. Tim, how are you doing today?
Having a blast. Homecoming Saturday here in Waxahachie for SAGU. You can feel it in the air. An exciting football game coming up here.
Special game for a couple of SAGU alums here. You're in store for a good one. It's the Wayland Baptist Pioneers coming to Waxahachie to take on the 22nd ranked SAGU Lions. We'll get into that a little bit later, but how good does that sound to hear?
It sounds amazing. We've never seen a team ranked this high here at SAGU, and to have it happening on homecoming Saturday, you can't ask for much bigger.
Great feeling. We're going to throw it down to our sideline reporter, Kristen Urban, real quick. Tell us how it feels down there, Kristen.
Thanks, Adam. We have some dedicated fans down here. They have been tailgating since 11 a.m., which included free Chick-fil-A and coffee for the first 200 fans. There's also face painting and other activities. Now, I'd say the energy is high down here, but so is the heat. Temperatures are looking to stay in the mid-90s throughout this entire game, but I don't think it'll play too much of a factor since both of these teams are pretty accustomed to the Texas heat. Now, what may play a factor in today's game is this wind. It's looking to stay over 10 miles per hour throughout this entire game. So we'll see how that affects our play today. Back to you, Adam.
Thank you, Kristen. Tim, it is a hot one.
It really is. It's one of those games you wish it was 24 hours later. This time tomorrow it's going to be like 65 degrees and beautiful, but we've got one last day of summer here in Texas at least.
But we know they're ready to play. Homecoming always gets you fired up, especially in front of of course, your home fans against a team like Wayland Baptist. A good rivalry the past couple years, so it's going to be fun to watch today, Tim. Let's go to the SAGU side of the ball real quick. They've been rolling here through the CSFL, the conference, 3-0 in conference. What do they have to do? They just got to keep that momentum going today.
Yeah, you just got to keep on moving. I mean, you've got all these wins under your belt. You're sitting here at 4-1 on the season. Second half of the season coming up, just keep on rolling.
No mistakes, no penalties, no turnovers. We'll see what the Lions can do today on the offensive side of the ball. Flip it to the other side, the defense. The biggest question mark for at least you and I, as we talked in preseason, we didn't think the defense was going to be as good as they are. They're allowing less than 7 points a game in conference play.
They have been locked down, and we're going to break down some of those numbers a little bit later, but they really have come to play, especially once the CSFL schedule began.
Incredible defensive play by the SAGU Lions this year. And the last one, this could be a trap game for the Lions. They've never really been ranked before. They're in the top 25. They have to play like they are a ranked team against a team who, on paper, they should be.
Yeah, you've never been this high before, which guess what? That means you never had an opportunity to fall this far before. So the pressure is on you, and you have to play, again, like you earned that number 22 spot.
And we know, as always, all season long, Coach Sam Harrell has been phenomenal calling on the offensive side of the ball. He's caught up with our very own sideline reporter, Kristen Urban. Kristen, what's Coach Sam Harrell have dialed up today for the Lions?
Thanks, Adam. Coach Harrell, your offense was clicking on all cylinders in your game against Arizona Christian. How do you plan on carrying that momentum into today's game against Wayland Baptist?
Well, we hope it's wasn't just a lucky thing. I mean, that's what we do, you know. And we've had a good week and a half actually of workout, and the kids have been doing real well, and they're excited about being in the conference race. So yeah, we just hope to continue today.
Did your offense focus on any specific areas given Wayland Baptist defensive strategy?
No, not really. You know, we don't really, I mean, we respect the defense, but we don't adjust to the defense very much. We kind of do what we do, and we read routes as we run them, so it doesn't matter if they're playing cover 2 or cover 4 or whatever, we just adjust. So we hope that works.
Thanks, Coach Harrell, and good luck today. Back to you, Adam.
Thank you, Kristen. Coach Harrell, always confident, especially today against Wayland Baptist. Now, Tim, let's flip to the Pioneers side. What do they have to do to walk away with an upset victory today against the Lions?
Well, breaking down their keys to the game, first and foremost, win on first and second down. Wayland only converts around 32% of their third down attempts, while SAGU allows only 24.3% of third down conversions. That's number 3 in the entire NAIA. So don't even get to third down. Win on first and second, first and foremost. Second, don't wear out the refs' arms. Wayland is number 2 in the NAIA with 101.5 penalty yards a game, around 102 penalty yards a game. That's not those places you want to be ranked number 2 at. Now, SAGU's not too far behind. They're number 13 13 in penalties, but SAGU is too good of a team to give them free yards on offense or put yourself behind the chains on defense. So just minimize those penalties. Last, show up for a full 60. That's going to be tough today because it's going to be hot, but Wayland has really struggled in the second half of games this year. They've been outscored by an average of 21-8 in the second half this year. They have yet to outscore an opponent in the second half. Even in their 2 wins, they have yet to outscore an opponent. Last week, they blew a 28-7 lead in the third quarter. So they've really struggled in those last 30 minutes. You got to show up for a full 60 today if you want to knock off the number 22 team in the NAIA.
And we know head coach Butch Henderson is always up to the task. Very good, historically good coach. He got to catch up with our sideline reporter, Kristen Urban, just a little bit ago. Kristen, Coach Henderson, what's he have to say about the game against the Lions today?
Thanks, Adam. Coach Henderson, SAGU has been averaging over 40 points per game on offense. What's it going to take for Wayland Baptist to stop SAGU today?
What we've got to really do is just execute our game plan. You know, they've done a great job and been able to move the football, but they're explosive. You know, they'll be humming along, and then all of a sudden it's like the dam breaks, and here it all turns loose. And if we can keep that dam from breaking, we'll be all right.
What are some strengths Wayland Baptist is trying to build off of coming into Waxahachie today?
We played real well together. Our football team is probably the best I've ever seen about believing in each other and pulling each other together. Got beat last week in the tail end of the ball game. Got stopped on a 2. Felt like we had a chance to win, and all we got to do is, if we get to the point where we play 4 quarters, we're going to be a really good football team.
Thanks for your time, Coach Henderson. Back to you, Adam.
And there you have Coach Henderson, confident today in his team.
You got to be confident against a team you know very well in SAGU, so you know that you have the trick somewhere to pull off a win.
Now, we heard from the coaches. Let's talk a little bit about the ones who are going to execute the play calls from these coaches. We'll start on the SAGU side of the ball. Home game, homecoming, got to start with the Lions. And you can't start with the Lions without talking about C.J. Collins. Just has been brilliant this season, has coordinated this offense, has been really good, and it led to a CSFL Offensive Player of the Week for his performance against Arizona Christian 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he's been absolutely great. In that game against Arizona Christian, that huge upset, he was money, just perfect.
And, of course, C.J. Collins' favorite target so far in the season has been Roderick Brown. Is just dominated. He is the spark plug of the offense. You can go to him when on a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 when it counts, and he usually converts for you.
Preseason, it wasn't the guy you may be looking for, but he has stepped up big time, and he's been a huge part of what has been a very high-scoring SAGU offense.
And, of course, the SAGU Lions, stifling defense. Have to talk about Landon Jones. We knew he was the player to watch for this entire season for this defense, which honestly was a question mark. But Landon Jones really has been dominating so far at the linebacker position.
Yeah, they've been doing a good job shutting down the run and the pass. And again, we got some more numbers than that here in just a minute. But yeah, the defense, they've come to play and surprised us both.
Take us to the Pioneers. What are the players to watch today if they want to pick up a win? 3
key players to watch. First, let's talk about running back Deshaun Johnson. He's kind of the Swiss Army knife for the Pioneers over there. He leads the team with 4 touchdowns and 101 all-purpose yards a game. He runs, he catches, he returns the kicks. He's doing it all out there. So look for him to be involved in every stage of the attack today for the Pioneers. Second, cornerback Brian Johnson. Lee is number 8 in the NAIA with 3 interceptions this season, 6 passes defended, and a fumble recovery. So he's going to be a big part of trying to shut down that Lions passing offense. But most importantly, get some picks, get some turnovers. That's how Wayland needs to win this game. Take away possessions from the Lions, give your offense good field position. Last but not least, linebacker Michael Neely, 12.2 tackles a game. He is your conference's leading tackler right now. So get in there, knock down J.P. Lowry, knock down Ricky Bickham, get some sacks, whatever you got to do. Just really keep the Lions off of the board today.
Walk us through the numbers really to watch for that really will indicate how this game is going to go.
Well, really, this defense, they have flipped a switch over the last 3 games once conference play begins. Just look at some of the comparisons here. The first 2 games, they allowed 90 total points. The last 3 games, 20 total points. The first 2 games, they were giving up around 5.9, almost 6 yards per play. That's putting you behind the chains. 2 plays and it's a first down. Since then, 3.5 yards per play, a 2.5-yard drop. That 3rd down conversion rate, mentioned that earlier. They were all doing really good in the first 2 games, only allowing 25%, but basically 1 out of every 4. They have dropped it even further the last 3, allowing only 20.9%. So basically, they've gone from allowing 1 of every 4 third down attempts to 1 out of every 5. And you just keep them punting, you keep them off the board. That is so huge. Lastly, takeaways. They only had 3 takeaways the first 2 weeks. The last 3, they've had 8 takeaways. So on the defensive side of the ball, they've just been dominating. Overall this year, I mentioned those linebackers, those cornerbacks, they have held 3 of the 5 starting quarterbacks they have faced to under 100 yards passing. Usually you're looking at 100-yard rushers, but 3 of the 5 starting quarterbacks haven't even been able to throw for 100 yards against this defense. That is just unbelievable, just what this defense has been able to do, especially when we think about all of the missing pieces they had to start the season, all of the great veterans that graduated that were gone at the end of last year, what they've been able to put together, allowing less than a touchdown a game on average so far in conference play. The last 3 weeks, they have found some magic, and they need to keep it going today against Wayland.
And I will admit, when we came out and watched the preseason scrimmages in the preseason here, the past offseason, we thought this defense was going to be maybe a bit of a rebuilding project with, again, the Ethan Eastwoods that leave, all the really veteran, like you said, veteran talents that left. But this defense is better than they have been the last 2 years.
Especially the last 3 weeks. They have looked absolutely amazing. Again, we were thinking offense is going to have to put up 45, 50 points to win. They've been putting up 45, 50 like we thought they would, but they've been winning the game in the entire first half. So
Absolutely.
It has been truly amazing what this defense has been able to put together with a bunch of young players, young stars showing up. We're halfway through the season. There are 5 games left. You're sitting there tied on top of the conference, a bunch of big games coming up. If you can keep this going, I mean, we'll just see that number 22 ranking rise and rise.
It just feels like a special season for the Lions.
It really does. I mean, last year you got derailed by injuries early on.
Yep.
Early on you got derailed by injuries. So you had a promising season, quickly fall to the wayside. You have a chance today to win your 5th game. You only won 4 games last year. You have a chance today to win your 5th game and do it in a way that puts you up in that upper tier of the conference where you thought you might be, but after you went over Arizona Christian, you definitely are.
Now, we mentioned a trap game earlier. They did have a bye week to prepare for this Wayland Baptist homecoming game here today. Being ranked 22 at this point in the season after a big win against Arizona Christian, who was at the time, of course, the number 10 team in the nation, top 10 victory for the SAGU Lions. Does that play a little bit in today? Did they get a little overconfidence against a Wayland Baptist team today?
I cannot imagine that head coach Frank Tristan is going to let these guys get overconfident. I mean, you know what this Wayland team can do. A lot of these guys, they're seeing them for the 3rd, 4th time. You can't let that possibly get into your mind, especially since you're so new. You know when you're first working your way into the standings, you have to scrap for every single spot. You don't get the benefit of losing a game and staying in the top 25. You know that this is a tightrope right now, and if you slip up, they'll drop you back to 50 without a second thought. So you can't look at any game as an easy win. You've got to show up today, fight for 60, get another win, and stay atop this conference.
And we will show you the conference standings throughout the day, throughout the night. But if we are off air when the games end today, go ahead and follow us on all of our social media platforms. They have up-to-the-minute scores and standings across the CSFL. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, really anything you can think about. We have, again, up-to-the-minute news for all your SAGU Sports and CSFL Sooner Athletic Conference news on all of our social media platforms. Don't go anywhere. We're going to throw you down to the field for the opening prayer, coin flip, national anthem, and then, of course, homecoming Saturday between the Pioneers and the SAGU Lions right here on the SAGU Sports Network.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and and the home of the brave.
Welcome back, the Harvesters, with a beautiful national anthem. It's always a treat to hear them, Tim.
Always a treat. Albums on sale. Just go find them.
The SAGU Lions, as they've done all season, have deferred the opening kickoff to Wayland Baptist. That means they will start with the ball in the second half and get that defense on the field.
And more often than not, it has paid off. They've done a really good job of getting those early stops, especially not last week, but 2 weeks ago in the last game against Arizona Christian. That was a big defining moment in the game. So here we go. Homecoming Saturday, number 22 team in the nation, taking on the Wayland Baptist Pioneers.
Talong Hamong's opening kickoff is a good one, out of the back of the end zone, and as he's done all season long, brilliant job in the kicking game by TH, as the coaches affectionately call him.
And there is a pretty stiff wind coming across the field, across from west to east, so it will be at the Lions' back, at least in the first quarter here.
Talong Hamong, of course, ranks #1 in Division I in kicking points scoring per game with just over 9. A weapon. Not often you hear a kicker referred to as a weapon, but TH.
Great on kickoffs. Has only missed 1 extra point, and it was due to a bobbled snap. So now here comes Danny Campos leading the Pioneers onto the field.
Campos with his man in the backfield. That is Deshaun Johnson. Back to pass as Campos steps up in the pocket, looking across the middle. He's got his man, and it's brought in past the first down marker. And just like that, they start the game on a completion to number 10, Ben Owen, for first down.
Offensive line did a good job there, gave Campos plenty of time to operate. Finally, to step in the pocket, found his man, and picks up 13 yards on the first play.
Campos hands it off to Johnson. He tries to take it over the left side, but he's met quickly that time by, of course, who else? Landon Jones in on the tackle, gain of about 2.
Deshaun Johnson is the leading rusher for Wayland Baptist. However, he only averages around 47.5 yards a game. They have 3 running backs, though, that average more than 40 a game, so see a lot of options back there.
Campos back to pass on second down. Quick hitter, no good. Carl Morgan is able to break up that pass from Campos.
Morgan quick to the read there, knowing they're going to go underneath, trying to pick up those 4 or 5 yards. Now you set up a 3rd and long. Carl Morgan has been a big-time player, one of those corners out there that just really helped shut down defenses.
Campos now on 3rd and 7, back to pass. SAGU brings the pressure, looking for a quick pass on the outside. Carl Morgan breaks on it, and it ends up incomplete, bringing up 4th down.
That was incomplete, thrown a little bit too far out of the receiver's grasp. However, if it had been thrown a little bit more accurately to the receiver, it might have been picked. Carl Morgan made a quick cut on it. So after a good play on the first play, the Lions defense shuts down the Pioneers, and they'll be punting from their own 40-yard line.
Back to punt for Wayland Baptist is Caleb O'Connor, the junior. And, of course, for the SAGU Lions, Sam Northey back to return this punt. It is up. Northey running up on it. He's going to get away from it. It's going to take a bounce and then a SAGU roll and be down at the 40-yard line. So the Lions will have very good field position here to start this game. Or start the first drive, rather.
Looked like the wind really factored in on that one as the punt nets only 20 yards. It goes up in the air. It's going to bounce at about the 35, 36-yard line and bounce up another 4 or 5 yards. But only about a 20-yard net on that punt. And the Lions, like you said, will start off with very solid field position. And they haven't needed much help the last few weeks either.
Not at all. 39-yard line. Collins, empty set, back to pass. Quick one across the middle, finds Justin Allen for a quick 7 yards. And not something we see a whole lot. SAGU coming out without a running back in the backfield.
No setback, shotgun snap, and C.J. Collins doesn't even take a step. No, just gets the ball, fires it over, picks up might be trying to put the Pioneers on their heels early on. And again, we see no running back, 5 wide.
Collins back to pass, doesn't take a step, pumps, looking down across the middle again. He finds his man Roderick Brown. Roderick Brown looks like he broke a tackle. They didn't take him down all the way, and he gets an extra 4 yards.
He looked wrapped up and thrown to the ground at around the 43-44 yard line, stays on his feet, picks up an extra 5 or 6. Roderick Brown has been an absolute playmaker. Look at that. Look at him stay on his feet. What an amazing second effort to pick up those extra 4 or 5 yards. And Roderick Brown with the ball in his hands, you just want to get it into his hands. He is so good at picking up those extra yards and sometimes taking it to the house.
Collins again, empty set. Looking across the middle, finds Justin Allen on that quick slant, and Allen fights forward. Does he get enough for the first down? He's right at the line. They have not signaled yet. They are going to give him a first down.
And this is some game planning right here for the Lions. They have identified something about Wayland because we have not seen this setup before. Come out, shotgun, no running backs. When you have such weapons at running backs, 5 wide, just these quick underneath passes, and you have moved down the field with ease over your first 3 plays.
We see Donovan John switch from the slot to the traditional tight end position, looking for Brown again, broken up this time. Good coverage that time by the Wayland Baptist defense.
And the first time it fails, look what we got coming in, Ricky Bickham into the field. So this was all, it just really felt like an early game strategy just to see if you could make it work, how long it would work. And now the Lions will come in with a more traditional setup. Ricky Bickham coming into the game, as well as Derek Shelby.
The big fullback, Derek Shelby.
So interesting way to start the game for the Lions, a format we haven't really seen before from them. And it definitely worked to get them down the field. Now they face 2nd and 10.
Shelby in motion, Bickham to his right, fakes the handoff to Bickham, back to pass. Looking for Bryant Dotson, and he's got him. Bryant Dotson, not a name we've called a lot this season, hasn't really been utilized, but right there, picks up the SAGU first down.
Which is just crazy, because he was you would have thought one of your top 2 receivers coming into the preseason, but because of guys like Justin Allen and Roderick Brown stepping up, Dotson has just, he's been there doing his job when he needs it, but they haven't had to weigh on him like they have in the past, and because of it, it means you've got a great receiver who you can always utilize that hasn't really had tape this year.
Collins hands it off to Bickham, looking to bounce it to the outside, cannot succeed, and he was brought down that time by, looks like Jacoby Bracey brings him down on that tackle. Good tackle.
Very solid tackle, because if you let Bickham get by you, if Bickham is able to break that tackle, he has the open field moves to possibly take it to the house. 2-yard gain brings up 2nd and 8. The Lions, except for the 1 incomplete pass, have found positive yardage on every play this drive. Slowing things down a little bit here too after some early movement.
2nd and 8, Collins in the shotgun, Bickham to his left. Pumps. He's got Bickham in the flat, decides to not throw it. He's going to tuck it and run here. He's going to get past the first down and down at about the 5-yard line. They're going to call him right down at the 5-yard line. Collins taking it upon himself that time.
Great awareness by Collins. Throw the little pump fake and just see, you know what, these guys aren't getting open, but I absolutely see the lane. Little bit of a scary tackle here, getting wrapped up from behind. You don't want to see that happen too much with your starting quarterback, but in this situation, he's able to run for a gain of around, I call it 11 yards, down to the 5-yard line, 1st and goal. And we see Matt Leiter check in the heavy package for the Lions. And man, when Leiter's been in the game this year, defenses just have not been able to recover.
J.P. Lowry, the first handoff. That's who you want in there. He's going to drive and fight all the way into the end zone. J.P. Lowry able to get SAGU on the board here early with the first touchdown of the game.
And that he is just going to follow Matt Leiter in. Matt Leiter clears the way. J.P. Lowry fights off tackle. Really gets hit around the 4, but as we've seen JP do all year long, he just bruises his way in. So you couldn't ask for much more in the first drive. The Lions go 71 yards. We have a pre-snap flag here, probably going to be a false start, something on the Lions. And this is what led to TH's only miss this year. It was a false start and then a bobbled snap.
Maybe too many men on the field.
Actually,
substitution infraction. 12 players on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeats try.
It'll just be a 1-yard penalty in this situation, but Tristan's going to opt just to stay with the extra point, though, not going to take the extra yard and try to get the 2-point conversion.
Here is TH. Snap is good, hold is good, kick is up, And TH knocks it through, and SAGU goes up 7-0 here early against Wayland Baptist.
And watch this right here again. You got Matt Leiter right here at the top of the screen, just bruising his way through. Essentially blocks 2 guys, uses the first guy to block the second, and then JP is just going to fight his way far enough to lean that ball across the line. As I said before the play started, when Matt Leiter has come in for that heavy package, your offensive line has been good enough, and your running backs are good enough that the defense, I mean, almost waved the white flag. We have not seen a goal line stand against the Lions this year.
And for those of you who are maybe joining us for the first time today, we haven't called Matt Leiter's name today because he plays defensive end. Yes. That's a defensive lineman in there to block for J.P. Lowry. And I'm sure we're going to call his name a couple times today, but Leiter, really the first time he's been called on offense.
He's a defensive lineman with the speed and agility of a linebacker and obviously the offensive wherewithal of a fullback. So he is absolutely... pound for pound, position for position, might be the best player on this team. C.J. Collins, obviously a dominant quarterback. You got great receivers, some great cornerbacks. But as far as a guy that can just captain a defense and then come in on offense without it, you know, he's on the sideline talking to his players, gets called in. Oh, time to get in and block for a touchdown. Does it without a second thought.
Matt Leiter closing in on that all-time sack record for this SAGU Lions. He is a senior, so we'll see if he can break it this year. TH's next kickoff is another good one. Going to be fielded at the 2-yard line, cutting it back towards the middle of the field, and there's a lane, and there's some room to run. A good open field tackle by Xavier Pittman as he's able to get it past the 30 is Devontae Hayden.
And that is the risk you take when you try to kick it short and maybe try to pin him inside the 25. Instead, it is Devontae Hayden taking it out to, well, only the 32. So after all of that, you didn't lose too much, but it sets up the Pioneers with better field position than a touchback would have given them. And yeah, definitely a good open field tackle by Pittman. If he gets past him, it might just be him and TH deciding if it's going to be a touchdown or not.
Danny Campos back to pass, rolling out to his left. Can't find anybody looking to chuck it down the field, but elects to dump it out of bounds. And the SAGU pressure.
And the SAGU defensive line, as you see them breaking through up the middle there, the primary pressure, Darnell Martin. That's something they did to Arizona Christian 2 weeks ago all day. Forced Ryan Esslinger to the sideline, and you know you can trust your corners to be there. He didn't complete, I think he completed 1 pass when he had to flee the pocket like that all game. So Danny Campos does not want to end up in that same situation this week.
Absolutely not. Campos back to pass again, looking to his right. Going to look in the middle of the field. It's brought in and caught just shy of a first down. Has his man, Jeremiah Eaton.
And Eaton's just going to get wide open on this play. Just kind of coming up the middle here, sets up. The linebacker shed off of him, but a good recovery made there by Matt Williams to keep it from being a first down, brings up 3rd and 1.
3rd and 1 here, Campos. Scanning the defense. Here's the snap. He's going to give it the delayed handoff, and he's got room to run into the secondary and brought down finally by Malik Golden. Brilliant play call on 3rd and 1.
And this is one of the situations where you have to sell out so much to try to get the stop that if you get blocked out of the way like their offensive line did, you get a big gain down to the SAGU 37-yard line.
Michael Romero rolling for the first down. Campos back to pass. All the time in the world, looking across the middle, has his man, is wrapped up and brought down by Michael Mast. And that's going to be another first down. Back-to-back first downs here for Wayland Baptist.
Definitely clicking, and that's a big 3rd down conversion. We talked pregame about how Lions do not allow them, and Wayland isn't necessarily great at them.
1st and 10 carry. He's going to move the pile here. They're going to call that a 2nd and inches, actually. They're going to pick up another first down there, as they called him just shy of the first down on the previous play, but now the Pioneers are able to get a first down.
But as we talk about pregame, you want to win 1st and 2nd down. The way you lose 3rd downs is when you're facing 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, then it is that much tougher, but they've been setting up some short 3rd down attempts. They got the one right there, and then 2nd down, they get that one.
Back to passes, Campos out in the flat, has his man, stumbles a little bit, but is able to recover, keeps feet brought down by Mast, but has his running back again, Michael Romero.
And there is a flag on the play as he had. This has potential to be a lot more. SAGU was able to get through the blockers pretty quick. And we do have a flag on the play. We'll see what the call is. It's in the neighborhood of being on Wayland, but we'll can't always judge by the positioning of the flag, but Wayland is walking back.
Holding. Number 77 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Jackson Williams called for the hold. It's going to be first and 20 rather for the Pioneers.
And that's how we talked about their penalty problems this year. That's how you get knocked back behind the chains. That's how you stop winning on first and second down like you have been on this drive so far. Now you got first and 20 with the wind in your face at the Lions 31.
Campos in the shotgun, a man to his right. He's back to pass. Steps up in the pocket, but he is met by Darnell Martin. Pressure by the defensive tackle brings down Campos.
And that's a coverage sack because Campos had plenty of time to throw. He's hardly even going to get a mitt laid on, and he's going to kind of get his own offensive line blocked into him before the Lions finally get there. And when that play was over, scan the field, there was not a white shirt anywhere separated from a purple shirt. The corners, the safeties had locked them down.
Second and 28. Faces Campos with a man to his left in the backfield, 4 wide. Campos is going to hand it off into the late handoff and read perfectly by the SAGU defensive line, and Jordan Coleman making a stop.
Coleman has a man on him, doesn't matter. Well, actually sheds off the man, just throws the running back to the ground, and it is 3rd and 30. That holding penalty looming large right now after what looked like it would be a 2nd and 7 at around the 17-yard line. Is now 3rd and 30 from the 41, obviously well out of field goal range.
Campos, 3 to his right, back to pass, looking to just get something across the middle of the field, has a man just overthrown, got a hand on it, but Malik Golden comes in and breaks it up. Scary play.
That was very well executed. That's gonna be Malik Sims going up the middle of the field, just a basic seam route. Campos reads them, and yeah, if Golden doesn't get a hand on that, that could be a catch and a touchdown. Instead, 4th and 30 at the 41, and the punt unit will come on. Caleb O'Connor will step onto the field. And so a scoring opportunity. Really, again, the Avalanche started on that holding penalty.
The punt is a low line drive. Northey is going to get away from it. And they say it did ricochet off a Pioneers player, but SAGU's going to take over possession here inside their own 20.
And you brought this up pregame to me, a very interesting stat for Wayland Baptist. Their kicker leads the NAIA for the most field goals. However, he only has a 68% field goal percentage. That's not very high. So that just shows how many Wayland Baptist drives have stalled out in the opposition territory. And if he makes all those field goals, they might be in a lot more games than they have been. So that's been a big problem for them all year long, finishing drives. You see it really rear its ugly head there with a holding penalty setting you back to first 20, then a sack, then a loss, then a complete pass. All of a sudden you're punting. SAGU's taking over at their own 14.
Collins in the shotgun. Fakes it to Bickham, back to pass, deep drop, all the time in the world, has Dotson and overthrows him. Had Bryant Dotson wide open and just overthrown.
C.J. Collins just scanning, waiting, and final little pressure cut comes up the middle. Just enough pressure, I think the ball would leave his hand a half second too early. If the offensive line, who was already holding it down, if they could have held it down for half a second more, that is going to be an 86-yard touchdown pass from Collins to Dotson.
Collins in the shotgun again, Bickham to his left. 3 receivers, 2 to his right. Collins going to fake the handoff to Bickham. Steps up in the pocket, looking deep again. He's got a man deep. Can he get him? He cannot. Back-to-back plays. Overthrown. Zach Johnson wide open.
And this one is a lot closer. This one is a lot closer to being completed. But just a little too far off of the fingertips of Zach Johnson. Back-to-back. 86-yard touchdown passes overthrown by a combined 8 inches. Wow.
Collins and the SAGU offense facing 3rd and 10.
Maybe mark that moment down as just a little moment to remember.
Collins fakes a handoff. He's back to pass. He steps up. Good foot movement. And he's going to finally get brought down. And you said it before for the Lions. That is a coverage sack. Collins could not find anybody. Uh-oh, a flag comes out here. 2 flags come out. as there's a scuffle after the play. Could this go against the Pioneers? That's who they're separating
That
here.
would be devastating. He was Jonathan Akers with the sack eventually. More than likely going to be an offsetting situation here, but watch it if you're Wayland Baptist. That would be awful to get this stop and then give up a first down on some extracurriculars. The way the teams are leaving the field strikes me as this is probably going to be an offsetting situation. But man, for the Lions, back-to-back passes just a little too long. Now you're getting brought down for a sack, and the referees are deliberating at this moment.
We'll try to get some clarity here, but it could be devastating for Wayland Baptist if this goes against them only. It would be a SAGU first down after they get off the field.
And the refs are trying to make sure they get this one right.
Here comes the call.
We have a dead ball, personal foul on the defense. Number 99. It's a dead ball. He is ejected.
Oh, wow.
Denzel Bradford, that is what they were talking about. Had to have thrown a punch to be ejected from the game.
What a turn of events. You're about to lose your starting tackle and give up a first down after you had made a huge stop. You were about to pin the Lions back at their own 11-yard line, force a punt, and something foolish happened after that play. We'll try to see if we can get a sense of it here on the replay as C.J. Collins stays up, finally gets brought down. And there's number 99. We'll see what happens.
There was a little scuffle on the ground between a Lion and a Pioneer.
A little scuffle, and before the replay ends there, you can see Denzel Bradford just kind of making his way over there, kind of darting over there, and he must have done something in the next 2 or 3 seconds that was enough to justify a 15-yard penalty and ejection, and it keeps a Lions drive alive, what had a drive that was over. The punt team was coming onto the field.
Collins now going to hand it off to Bickham. Bickham cuts it up the middle, and he's got a first down. Ricky Bickham able to finally, well, not finally, he hasn't had many opportunities, but Bickham breaks free and picks up a Lions first down.
Just a quick seam, finds the hole, follows his blocker.
Good seal by Derek Shelby there to get him to that second level.
And Ricky Bickham, when he sees the turf, he's taking it. He's not going to think about cutting left to right. He sees what he has in front of him, he takes it.
Collins now, fresh set of downs. Collins back to pass over the middle to Shelby. Shelby hauls it in. Derek Shelby gets involved in the receiving game and takes it past midfield down at the 32.
Not the guy you're expecting to come out of the backfield when you have Ricky Bickham. Shelby just comes off the line, gets ignored by the linebacker, picks it up and takes it down to the Pioneer 32-yard line.
And then SAGU taking advantage of that penalty against the Pioneers as Collins now with Bickham still to his right in the shotgun. Collins hands it off to Bickham, looking to bounce it to the outside, cuts it back inside. Bickham sticks his foot in the ground and is met by a host of Pioneers, but keeps the pile moving. And it's gonna...
That's close to a first down.
That is very close. They have not made a signal yet. And they're gonna say...
They're waiting right now, but now they are...
Signal first down for the Lions.
So Bickham and the offensive line here, you see this scrum moving forwards. They turn what was going to be a 2nd and 3, 2nd and 4 into another first down at the just outside or right at the 22-yard line since it is a first down. SAGU offense is clicking. Definitely trying to make the Pioneers pay for a very ill-timed penalty.
And we're going to have a whistle here. It looks like it's going to be a timeout for Wayland Baptist, and they need one. With 4:56 left to play here in quarter number 1, they have got to do something here. They look deflated after that penalty.
Those just kill you so much because you had the drive over. It was over. You had made the big stop. You're about to get the offense the ball back, maybe at the 50-yard line, maybe in SAGU territory because you pinned them deep enough. And you make that mistake. Not only do you lose your starting tackle, you give up the first down, and SAGU already had 2 touchdown passes on this drive that were just half a yard too far.
They were fortunate to be off the field.
Exactly. So SAGU already gave you the chances. You already gave SAGU chances to score, and they gave them back to you. You can't give them these second chances. So now the Lions set up at the 22-yard line. Just under 5 minutes left, up 7-0, and they have really owned the first quarter of the last few weeks. So the first half, really, once conference play has begun, they've owned every aspect of the game.
Driving to what looks like more points here as they are just shy of the red zone. It's going to be 1st and 10 from, like you said, the 22-yard line. And Collins has his big receiver, Bryant Dotson, at the bottom of your screen in single coverage and safety shading over a little bit. Collins going to fake it to Bickham, out to the screen. He finds Jeremy Carr. Carr looking for some blocking. He's going to pick up about 4 off that quick screen play.
Roderick Brown held up as long as he could as the leading blocker out there, but eventually got the tackles away from him. But gain of 3 inside the 20-yard line, 2nd and 7.
Collins awaiting the play call as he looks to the sideline. Bickham still in the backfield with him. Roderick Brown and Brian Dotson split out to his left. Jeremy Carr on his right alone. Derek Shelby at the H-back. Collins takes the snap. Back to pass, deep drop, rolls out to his right, looking for a man. He finds him underneath. That's Roderick Brown. Roderick Brown picks up the first down, and SAGU is inside the 10-yard line. And they're going to have 1st and goal from the 8.
And it's just it's a 3-level play, basically. And you see the linebacker have to finally shed off. C.J. Collins has already beat you with his legs once today. You've got a guy deep in the end zone. You got a guy set up at 15. You got C.J. Collins who can run on the end of the field. C.J. Collins is going to hang on and wait and see what you're going to do. If the linebacker had stayed back, he'd have scampered for 8 yards. So once they had that play executed well, there's not much the defense can do except hopefully try to be there if the ball is thrown, or pursue fast enough they realize that CJ's crossed the line of scrimmage. Because if he's behind the line of scrimmage and you blitz him, he's just going to dump the ball off.
Collins, 1st and goal from the 8, going to hand it off to Bickham. Bickham looking for some room. He's got a little bit, and he scores! Ricky Bickham takes it into the end zone, puts SAGU up 13, barring an extra point, 14-0.
Give him an inch and he'll take a touchdown. Ricky Bickham just off tackle like he loves to do it, and just pushes off his own man. There's the space, and once he has the speed, it's just not going to happen. Into the end zone for the 6-yard touchdown run. It's going to cap off an 86-yard touchdown drive that would not have existed were it not for a 15-yard penalty. Kick is good by TH, and it is 14-0 SAGU with 3.5 minutes left in the first quarter. And again, you talk about game-changing moments. 2 penalties. You see right here, watch this setup. They're showing a blitz. Wayland is showing a blitz in this situation, but the ball is snapped, and once it's snapped, the offensive line just does their job on the first thing, and Ricky runs away from the tacklers. He's quick enough that he just gets away from those tacklers. They're blocked, and it's over. So I think that's one of those situations where you really shouldn't have shown the blitz that much early on, because Ricky just knew exactly where he had to run. He knew they were going to come to the middle, maybe thinking a quick pass because he's been doing such a good job. But that's one of those situations where you have an offense that just works so well on so many levels, you just don't know what to do. But yeah, those last 2 drives, a Wayland Baptist holding penalty puts them back behind the chains, and it's resulting in a punt. And then what's about to be a punt is erased by a 15-yard penalty. So the penalty issues that we discussed in pregame have been massive so far here in the first quarter, arguably taking the points off the board for Wayland and putting points on the board for SAGU.
TH back to kick again, has a strong wind going his way. You may very well see this one out the back of the end zone as the wind has picked up a little bit here in Waxahachie. And the kick is up, and he does indeed get enough of it as it lands halfway into that D in the Indians here in Lumpkin Stadium.
Yeah, after you saw the last return, no reason to try the whole stop him at the 15-20 strategy, especially when your defense has done a solid job in this game. No reason to risk a big-time return, especially when you know they have guys like Deshaun Johnson back there who can make a big return. So Danny Campos comes back in, now trailing 14-0. They had a good drive going on that last attempt before the holding penalty, then a sack, then a run stop, and at that point, 3rd and 31, and there's no play in the playbook for 3rd and 31 other than throw it deep.
Campos, delayed handoff again, looking for room, will not find it. Spun around and taken down by that SAGU defensive line. This time it was Keelan rushing, getting in there.
That's just going to be too delayed because it gave plenty of time for Jordan Coleman to come back. He was blocked off the play and was able to come back inside and make the hit. Now we have Deshaun Johnson is down after that play.
And this is Wayland Baptist. If you're looking at stats, he may be their best offensive player. He does it all. He rushes, he's a very good receiver out of the backfield, and he also returns kicks.
Yeah.
So this could be a huge blow for the Pioneers if he cannot come back into this game. And by the looks of it, he is in pain. As we show you the up-to-the-minute Central States Football League standings, we mentioned it in pregame, that three-way tie there at the top of the CSFL between Langston, Oklahoma Pandal State, and SAGU. Now, OPSU plays Arizona Christian tonight, I should say.
Tonight out in Arizona, that is going to be a huge ball game. It'll have huge ramifications on SAGU as they fight for that top spot. SAGU will play OPSU next weekend, and then I believe it's 2 weeks after that, they'll play Langston. So a lot of very interesting football yet to be played. And, you know, there's Wayland Baptist sitting there at 2-2. They're just barely on the outside looking in. If they could pull off a rally here today, they could really throw some wrenches into the action, especially since SAGU still has to play Langston and OPSU has to play Arizona Christian, and Arizona Christian has to play Langston. Wayland could still make this very interesting as far as they're concerned.
They're not off to a good start. They're already down 14-0.
And they've lost their starting tackle to a penalty, and now Deshaun Johnson is up and being helped off the field, but you hope that he can get back out there. He is ranked number 50 in the NAIA in total yards per game. In the combined yards category, he is ranked number 50 with just over the all-purpose yards, just over 100 yards a game. So you definitely want him back out there if you are Wayland.
Campos now in the shotgun. Was going to say 2nd and 9, but a quick flag here, and it looks like it could be a false start against the Pioneers.
We have a false start on the offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Keaton Vaughter gets caught for the false start, rather, making it 2nd and 14.
And I believe that's the 4th penalty of the day on Wayland Baptist. And just nickels and dimes like that put you at 2nd and 9 to 2nd and 14. Now you got to change your entire game plan.
Campos looking across the middle. It's picked off. Jordan Coleman jumps up at the line and is able to pick it off. Coleman looked like he was going for a batted ball, but it was low enough where it hits him right in the hands. And there you see a defensive lineman with an interception. That's always exciting.
He is going to catch a bullet from 4 yards away. Bats it, kind of holds it in place, holds onto it. You see those batted sometimes. You don't see them picked. Great effort by Jordan Coleman. Like I said, you see the receivers sometimes practice standing 4 or 5 yards away from those jugs machines that launch the balls at top speed, and they can barely make the catch. So to have a defensive lineman make that catch, set the lines up at the 19-yard line, not the break Wayland was looking for, just reading the ball. Excellent job. Excellent recovery after he bats it.
The 6'3" defensive lineman using the height to his advantage. Now C.J. Collins is going to hand it off to J.P. Lowry. Lowry rumbling down inside the 15, and a whistle's blown. Had not gone down yet. He was still fighting for yardage, and he's going to pick up a tough 6 yards on that carry.
That's always tough for the referees to decide when the play is actually over, when the running back is declared dead, because it's hard to ever say that J.P. Lowry's out of a play, and he was thrown far enough backwards that the whistle was blown at the right time, but going to set the Lions up inside the 15-yard line now, trying to take advantage of a big-time turnover as we approach 2 minutes left here in the first quarter.
Collins hands it off to Lowry, looking for him again, bounces off his own lineman. He's going to get some first down yardage and then some down at the 1-yard line. J.P. Lowry showing the patience to hit the line and bounce it outside.
And that's going to be, if you count the initial contact when he hits the first guy, that's 12 yards after the initial contact at around the 15-yard. Let me actually make it 13. He's down to the 2. First and goal at the 2. Yeah, Lowry, he is just a rumbler.
And he still is in the game. Shoulder pad hanging out and everything, but we also see Matt Leiter enter the game. As we got a little bit of Wildcat action going on here. Justin Allen going to take this snap for the Lions. And he's going to keep it himself. The little Wildcat power will work for the Lions as he is able to sneak into the end zone and put SAGU, barring an extra point, up 21-0. That's not something we've seen this year.
That's a super heavy package. You bring in Leiter and have Lowry go up for the block and just let Justin Allen take it up the middle. Yeah, we have not seen a Wildcat formation like that. Justin Allen just all the room he needs to go straight up the middle, roll into the end zone. Lions having their way when it comes to goal line offense at this point. As TH will line up for his 3rd extra point attempt of this young game.
Snap is low, hold is good, the kick is up and it's good. TH makes it 21-0. SAGU in the first quarter, and just like we've seen so far here in conference play. Go ahead, Tim.
Hey, and watch this setup. You got Matt Leiter at the front. The defense has everybody there, but there's just too many guys blocking, and JP Lowry immediately breaking. This is Justin Allen's ball all the way. They're not thinking anybody else. Lowry goes in, seals. The offensive line does their job. There is not a free Pioneer on that play. As Justin Allen takes up the middle. I'm going to go on a limb and say that's his first rushing touchdown of the year.
Yes, it is. It is.
Sometimes I don't pull the numbers up yet. I just kind of go off of instinct to say that's Justin Allen's first running touchdown. Had two receiving touchdowns 2 weeks ago. But yeah, huge turn of events off of that interception. Lions offense has now taken advantage of every little Wayland mistake and every big Wayland mistake.
TH on for the kickoff, and just like they've done all year here in the CSFL, they have jumped out to a big lead in the first quarter, making a statement to start the game that you're going to have to dig your way out of a hole to come back to try to even tie this game up. SAGU stepping up and punching the Pioneers right in the mouth here to start the game.
And immediately making you abandon any game plan you have. They're forcing you to go through the air, and as you said, they've held 3 of the 5 starting quarterbacks they've faced to less than 100 yards passing. So they're like, go to the air, we dare you. We've got too many great corners, too many good safeties, too many linebackers that can drop into coverage.
And a good defensive line that can create pressure.
Exactly, so they are, I mean, obviously they're great at rushing defense as well, but what they've been able to do in their pass defense, when they can get this early lead and force you to have to start getting away from the run, go looking for those big plays. You see an update around the CSFL. Bacone and Texas Wesleyan all tied up right now out in Fort Worth. 2 minutes left in the first quarter.
Wayland Baptist, the Pioneers, take the ball at the 25 after the touchback from Talong Hamong. As Danny Campos is back in the shotgun, takes it back to pass, looking out to the left side. Landon Jones able to break that pass up. If he could get 2 hands, even haul that into the chest, that's another pick for the Lions.
This might have been a situation of a wide receiver playing defense is just doing a good enough job. That's Caleb O'Connor, who is just hanging on to Landon Jones once he gets a hand on that. Otherwise, that's not just an interception, that's a pick 6.
Landon Jones is an athlete. You got to believe he's going to plant that back foot and take off for the end zone. Campos wisely hands it off, and he's got room up the middle and then some. Jukes out Malik Golden. He's down the far sideline. Does he have the wheels? One man to meet. Carl Morgan plants him out of bounds. Carl Morgan with the big hit at the tail end of that run, but a beautiful run on second down.
Jarrell Peterson weaving his way, breaking some arm tackles in the middle, breaks way too many arm tackles, breaks around 5 arm tackles. And by the time the Lions finally get a lick on him, he's down to the 34-yard line. That's just what the Pioneers needed.
They hand the ball off again to him, and he is going to fall forward for about 3 yards, call it maybe 2.5. Jarrell Peterson on that carry again.
Wayland's had some success on the running attack so far in this one. They want to try to, obviously you're down 21-0, but you got plenty of time. So you still have plenty of time to stay in there, do what works best for you. And so far the running attack hasn't been too bad.
Back to passes Campos, looking for a quick pass out to the left. He completes it, wrapped up quickly by Carl Morgan. And he finds his man on the outside. That is Braylon Kirby, rather.
Just a real quick play here, but the Lions get on it fast enough that it doesn't get any extra yards and brings up another 3rd down, 3rd and 4.
And remember, last time they had a 3rd and short, they ran a delayed handoff for a huge gain. We'll see what they do here. 3rd and 4. Back to pass is Campos, looking to his left, off the hands of his receiver, and intercepted by Carl Morgan. He's down the sideline, pushed out of bounds by Campos. 2 Lions there fighting for it between Kobe Roach and Carl Morgan, and either one could have had it.
And they almost broke it up from each other. Carl Morgan, Kobe Roach both going for this pass. Roach takes it, and then he's like, they're both going for it. That's almost a situation where you need an outfielder to yell, I got it, I got it. So knocked out of bounds, and another productive Pioneer drive brought to a halt. They were moving. 3rd and 4 gets intercepted, and the Lions take it up to the 45-yard line, so they will even start with solid field position.
And you got to think, they've had success running the ball, the Pioneers have. In a 3rd and 4 situation on a delayed handoff, which has worked a couple times in this game, why would you not go back to it?
It's a tough call, and in that situation, you had an open receiver. It just wasn't really thrown in a great spot. Otherwise, it's a 1st down.
Collins back to pass as the buzzer goes off, has Bryant Dotson, hauls it in! Bryant Dotson as the quarter ends from C.J. Collins, 55 yards for the touchdown, and SAGU has the chance to go up 28-0 after 1 quarter.
You know, you didn't need a buzzer-beating Hail Mary because it was the end of the 1st quarter, but why not? You've thrown this twice. It has been overthrown both times. Not this time. Touchdown.
On the money.
Yards. And that, you couldn't have drawn it up any better. 1 play after the interception.
TH is on for the kick. It's up and it is good. SAGU heading to quarter number 2 after the touchdown, up 28-0. We're going to catch up with SAGU Women's Lady Lions head basketball coach Tiffany Phillips, who's with our very own Kristen Urban. Kristen, what's Coach Phillips have to say?
Thanks, Adam. I'm here with the head women basketball coach, Tiffany Phillips. Coach Phillips, tell us a little bit about this morning's alumni game.
Well, I mean, first of all, how do you even top this, what happened right here? I don't even know if they want to hear about basketball. What a play, but really happy with some of the things we saw today. Obviously, we have some very, very young girls. Ebony Colbert's our only senior, so really excited about the young ones coming in and doing some really good things. We put a lot of points on the board this morning, which I knew we could score, and I knew we could score the basketball. We started hitting some shots after we got relaxed, so that was exciting and fun to watch. Defensively, I was really impressed with some of the stuff we did. We've been working hard on defense, so we did a really good job, and I saw some really, really good things. I'm excited.
Tell us about this upcoming season.
Well, just again, you know, we're really, really young, obviously. With Ebony being our only senior, she provides great leadership. But we are, I'm happy. We're really athletic. We're quick, which is what I think we needed to improve on from last year. We needed some athleticism, some players that could defend the ball, and we got that. We went out and got that in our recruiting, and I expect some really good things from our young ones. We got Mackenzie Martin here now, who's a transfer from Abilene Christian, and she hits some shots. She's a 6'2" guard. Really excited to have her on the floor this year. I'm looking for big things. You know, they picked us 8th in the preseason poll, but I'm excited about it.
Thanks for your time, Coach Phillips. Back to you, Adam.
Thank you, Kristen. A 6'2" guard for this Lady Lions basketball team. That's incredible.
That is incredible. They had their alumni game this morning. That was a 9 a.m. game.
And
I have to ask you, Adam, when you went to SAGU, did you ever wake up before 9 a.m. on a Saturday?
Well, on a Saturday, no. I had 8 a.m.s almost every day, but you threw that Saturday in there, and it threw me for a rip. No, of course I was up before 9 a.m. on Saturdays, Tim. No, I talked to Coach Phillips and a couple of the alumni players. This is not an alumni game from players that were playing 5 or 6 years ago. This Lady Lions basketball team currently came out and beat Bethany Kroc, Charity Page, Lakin Ward, Megan Becker, Alexis McAfee, people that played last season. They came out and beat them. So this is a very exciting team for, of course, head coach Tiffany Phillips. It's going to be fun to see here in the spring.
A lot of young players, and hey, talking about young players, we didn't know what this defense could be with young players. They've been great, so you never know what young players are going to do. TH is going to go very short as he goes into the wind. we've seen this strategy all year long. When they've had a stiff wind, just drop it short. We do have a flag on the play in the area of offsides for the Lions, so might be tacking 5 yards onto this one. So Wayland get decent starting field position, and boy, do they need it. Those last 10 seconds couldn't have gone much worse.
Offsides on the kicking team. Number 24, 5-yard penalty. Will be entered the spot of the catch. Be first down, White.
Wayland Baptist, there you hear it. They're going to start with very good field position up at around the 38-yard line.
And now's the time to get the spark. Like I said, you had a drive going, facing 3rd and 4, intercepted, back-to-back plays, interception, 55-yard touchdown pass, and now you're in a world of trouble.
And they're going to hand it off. He's going to take it up, bounce it out to the right side. Good move to cut it back, brought down by Malik Golden. Michael Romero with a good first down carry.
Romero's going to watch this stiff arm coming right here. Ooh. Just throws him to the ground, does a little nifty jump outside. The running game is working for Wayland. I wouldn't get away from it at this point. You've got a lot of time left in this ball game. Just keep pounding the rock.
And they will do that. Romero able to stick his head in and get the first down. And the good thing about scoring, I was about to say this, is that as we came in after the kickoff, good thing about scoring like that quickly, it gives your defense a chance to rest because it was the quarter break. So if you're going to score like that, you might as well do it when you can take some time off afterwards.
Yeah, it wasn't a problem at all.
Not seeing a tired defense here for the Lions, but Wayland Baptist has gashed them twice, now maybe 3 times in a row with the run. Romero again, this time brought down after about a gain of 2.5, and it's going to bring up 2nd and about 7 or 8.
And this is now marks the 3rd time that Wayland has crossed the 50-yard line, but no points to show for it at this point in the ball game. Again, their offense has been able to move, but we saw this with the Firestorm in town 2 weeks ago as well. The Firestorm would get going early, and the defense just clamped down once the ball crossed midfield.
Here is Campos back to pass, going deep down the field. He's got his man down past the 30. Danny Campos finds Malik Sims for the first down, and the Pioneers are moving.
Just a real well-run out route here, has plenty of space behind him, and his receiver gets down to the 28-yard line. And that's one of the first real solid pass plays we've seen from the Pioneers in this game.
Campos with Romero to his right, 4 wide. He's going to hand it off. Why not? Has done a good job this drive. And here's another one. Michael Romero down past the first down marker, and the Pioneers are answering back in every way right now on this offensive drive as the Lions have a player down. That's Michael Mast.
And they're going somewhere that teams haven't had much success, right up the middle. Taking these runs right up the middle and get, like I said, just gashing them up the middle. And if you're the Lions, when you're struggling like that at the moment, trying to stop the run, you definitely don't want to see, one of your DBs going down.
Michael Mast has made a couple of good plays. Here you see the rest of the season outlook here for the Lions. Of course, playing Wayland Baptist today. Next week they go on the road, and you said a big one, Oklahoma Panhandle State. Very well could be undefeated, a battle of 2 undefeated teams in the CSFL next week in Goodwell, Oklahoma.
Then back home against Lyon College, and then the game. It just feels like there's a sense of destiny around this one. The Langston Lions coming to town on November 4th. If things kind of stay where they would expect, if the teams win the games that you expect them to win, that game will essentially act as a de facto conference championship game between the Langston Lions and the SAGU Lions. Now, still 3 games essentially to play for both teams between now and then. But November 4th, if you always used to say, if you only have time to see 1 game this year, you be sure to be out here or be tuned in on November 4th.
That is the one. First down and 10 from the 15. Campos back to pass. Instant pressure from Martin rolling out to his right, and it's just going to throw it out of bounds. Darnell Martin just felt like he got instant pressure there from the get-go, as well as Reed Oakes.
And once the Lions get the pressure and force you outside, the corners are going to clamp down. Nowhere to throw the ball. Jake said, just got to get it away. Don't take the sack. Don't try to force something inside when you've already had 2 passes intercepted on the last 2 drives. You got a good thing going right now. 2nd and 10 at the 15. I'm not sure if I'd go away from the run right now. It's been working so well for you.
And they are going to hand it off. and then met quickly by Landon Jones. Jarrell Freeman with the carry, but Landon Jones put an end to it very quickly. 3rd and 10.
Yeah, shooting right up there. No one is even nearby to block him. I think it's just a missed assignment. You got to identify Landon Jones coming that quickly on you. And now it sets up a 3rd and long.
Call it 3rd and 11 from the 16. Danny Campos now 4 wide. You got to think they got to air it out, and they will. But a flag looks like it's going to be a false start, and that's going to move him back further.
False start on the offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
And so it turns a 3rd and mid-long to a 3rd and very long. The penalties just keep coming for the Pioneers, and every single one of them. I mean, again, there's never a good time to have a penalty necessarily. Some are more noticeable than others, but all of these have been very noticeable on 3rd down situations, giving 1st downs. And SAGU's going to call a timeout now as they face a 3rd and 16. Wouldn't really, you know, it's hard to say in a 28-0 ball game, but this could be a very crucial moment. If the Pioneers can convert this, we saw them nearly convert a 3rd and long on their first drive. It just tipped off of the fingers of Malik Sims on that very first drive, and I believe Bleak Golden actually had a play on it. This is one of those situations, if you can make the stop here, hold them to a field goal, you still feel very much in control of this game. Whereas Wayland knows you got to get in the end zone here. You got to go get this 1st down right now.
You can't walk away with a field goal here. If you pick up 7 or 8 yards, do you go for it on 4th down?
I mean, there's always that psychological factor getting the 0 off the board, but as we talked about before, their kicker has not necessarily been super accurate this year. So I don't know if you, it all depends on what you pick up. If you pick up 10 or 11, I'm definitely going for it. Pick up 5 or 6, then it's might just be get that 0 off the board.
Campos back to pass. Rolling out now to his left. Instant pressure, and the Lions are going to get there, and there's no going for it here. Jordan Coleman and Kobe Roach bringing the heat, bringing down Danny Campos.
I mean, that just answered that question. The Lions almost just a jailbreak blitz coming at them.
Jordan Coleman, a pick and now a sack. Having a great game on the defensive side of the ball.
And so they will trot out the field goal unit now. It's Daniel Martinez who's going to be trying,
It's a 50-yarder from the 33.
50-51. It's almost where the holder is at. It's right in between the 40 and 41. So this is going to be a 50-51-yarder.
The lefty gets it up, and it is good. A 50-yard field goal for Wayland Baptist. And we talk about him. He leads the nation in field goals made, but only has one. That's going to be a little bit better. But coming in today, a 68% field goal percentage.
Well, obviously they trusted his leg in that situation, and he made it with a little room to spare. So SAGU gets the big sack, but excellent kick by Martinez. That's one of those situations where a big sack might, it looked like it had forced them out of field goal range and taken away any option to score, but
not when you have Martinez.
Yeah, good to see your kicker go out there and at least salvage some points. On your 3rd drive into SAGU territory, you finally get some points out of it. Now it's up to your defense to make a stand. As again, psychologically, you've gotten that 0 off the board. It's such a big thing sometimes. Just say, okay, we're not at 0 anymore. We're not getting shut out anymore. We got 3 points. We know we can score. We just need a stop or 2.
We talk about TH being a weapon for the Lions. How important is it for a kicker to be able to come in and confidently nail a 50-yarder?
And especially in those situations where you have a big swing potentially happening, if you'd thrown a complete pass there, the kick wouldn't have been that special.
Right,
okay,
yeah.
That's what you expect. But after the big sack, turn a upper 30s, low 40s field goal into a 50-yard field goal.
He did have the wind at his back. It definitely probably helped there, but you said he had room to spare.
He had some room to spare, and the accuracy is the bigger thing in that situation from 51 yards out. Obviously, I don't think that kick could have been happening going the other way. The wind at his back definitely helped aid that decision as well as the kick. But Wayland has erased the shutout at least.
And for the first time, the Lions will be receiving a kick here as the kick from Martinez is out the back of the end zone. So SAGU is going to start at 25, up 28-3 with just about 11:45 left to play here in quarter number 2.
Yeah, they had pitched a shutout through the first 3 quarters in their last game against Arizona Christian. It wasn't until the 4th quarter that the Firestorm finally able to get some points on the board. So Wayland at least gets on the board earlier today and forces the SAGU kick team out there. The worst thing you can do as the opposition team when SAGU defers is have your first kickoff be in the second half. You want to have more kickoffs against the Lions.
And they had the opportunities. They were driving on a couple of drives. We've mentioned it before, but the Lions defense, a couple of times, they bending but not breaking. Collins sending Zach Johnson in motion, getting handed off. We saw this work against Arizona Christian, and he's got a good chunk of yardage again. Zach Johnson able to pick up, we'll call it 8, maybe 9 yards.
And I don't think he has a full handle on this ball when he's first handed it. We've watched the replay here. Yeah, he's holding it against his leg. That was close to disastrous. He's staying at full speed to try to get around that corner while also trying not to lose the ball. Excellent hands to hang on to it and make it a 9-yard game.
2nd and 1 now. Collins in the shotgun. He's going to fake the handoff out to Johnson. He's got blockers in front of him, cuts it back down the sideline. Zach Johnson, back-to-back plays here. Confidence from offensive coordinator Sam Harrell.
And that's something we noticed 2 weeks ago too. Zach Johnson, we even call his name for 30 plays, and then we call it 2 or 3 plays right in a row. They get him involved in bursts. It's almost just like, hey, you've now seen everybody else. You've seen Allen, you've seen Dotson, you've seen Carr. Now here comes this other guy. Now cover him.
Again, out to Zach Johnson, the freshman, getting his name called a lot today. A flag comes flying out there, and I'm not...
Wayland is protesting. I don't know if he's protesting because he got held or if he's going to get called for a penalty he doesn't think he should be called.
He threw it at CJ.
Team have a personal foul. Number 7 on the defense, roughing the quarterback. 15-yard penalty, first down.
And I thought maybe there wouldn't be a holding penalty on a screenplay. It's happened so fast.
Brian Johnson is going to get called for that. He was one of our players to watch for, and it wasn't for that reason. So yet another penalty against Wayland. And he was protesting afterwards, but sometimes that means you knew you did it.
1st and 10 in Pioneers territory from the 33. Collins 3 out wide to his right. Do they go to Johnson again? They do. They are feeding the freshman. Zach Johnson weaving his way past blockers, picks up, call it about 5 on first down, making it 2nd and 5.
They've run that play 3 consecutive plays now. It's almost that situation, a psychological game of Wayland sitting there going, they can't possibly run it again, can they? They won't possibly run it again. We can't. And Wayland still only has 2 guys out there covering it because they're thinking they're not going to go to it a 4th time, are they? There's no way they go to it a 4th time, are they? They might go to it a 4th time.
Collins hands it off to Bickham, and Bickham on 2nd and 5 gets stopped. Call it 2nd and 6, gets stopped quickly, picks up maybe the line of scrimmage, making it probably 3rd and 6 here.
And they don't go back to it a 4th time, but that was the plan. They just try to maybe spread them out and put Bickham up the middle. And they're going to give him, looks like just maybe a yard. So it's somewhere between a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6.
Collins in the shotgun sends Johnson in motion, and the snap, he wasn't ready for it. Collins is just going to fall on it, and it's going to be 4th and a mile. Obviously, they're going to have to punt here, but Collins not ready for the snap from Dane Macklin.
Yeah, just a little bit of miscommunication, and CJ Collins just run back and get on that one. Don't try to be a hero and scoop it up and do anything. The last thing you need to have right now is a turnover. So the Lions drive for the first time will not end in points today on their 5th drive. A solid stop on 2nd down and then a miscommunication, bad snap on 3rd down. We'll make it 4th and 24, and the Lions are punting.
Maverick Montiel back to punt. We'll see if he continues to use or to utilize that rugby-style roll out and kick it. He will. Rolling out to his right, going to try to pin it down in the corner. It bounces, goes out of bounds. Looks like he shanked it.
Yeah,
that's a terrible punt from Montiel.
Not a good punt at all. The ref is still walking. They're going to start the 33-yard line. That punt's going to net 13 yards. That punt, or call it 15. That punt's going to net around 15 total yards.
And if you're Wayland Baptist, after coming down, getting a 50-yard field goal from Martinez, and now very good field position, this is where you start to feel a little bit better, get some momentum. It's still the 2nd quarter. We're not even halfway into the 2nd quarter.
And you just play these mental games with you of, you know what, if we don't throw that interception in our own territory, if we don't have the bobbled interception, we don't have a couple penalties.
Here's Freeman. Freeman poking his head in there. He's going to pick up about 7
obviously,
on first down.
Obviously, the scoreboard is what the scoreboard is, but it's not necessarily been because of just one team being that much better than the other. It's been goofy little things. It's been turnovers. It's been penalties, things that you can eliminate that have made this a lopsided score right now. If you can take those out of the way, just start chipping away now, you can get yourself back in this ball game.
Campos back to pass on second down. He's going to step up, but he is met by Matt Leiter, and that is Matt Leiter's, believe it or not, his first sack of the season, 1 away from the SAGU record for Matt Leiter.
He finally gets it. He's been real close. He's been real close on a couple that he came in, I think, too late to get credit on. Yeah, Matt Leiter just so athletic. Like I said, he's on the defensive line, but he's got the speed and agility of a linebacker, but the strength of his defensive lineman.
I was incorrect. He actually has a sack and a half on the season. So that sack right there gives Matt Leiter 2.5 on the year, as the Campos pass is going to go long, bring it up 4th and 10. But that sack right there, if my math is correct, gives him the all-time sack record at SAGU by half a sack.
Wow. Historical sack right there, and then on third, it sets up a 3rd and long. On 3rd and long, Wayland tries to go through the air, just overthrown, and so after the defense finally gets a stop, offense is unable to get anything going, and they'll be punting from right where they got the ball. Like, had a big chance for a break there. Your defense gets the stop, a bad punt by a good punter, but unable to capitalize.
Speaking of good punts, this is a good punt. Fair catch called by Northey, down just around the 25. Call it down at exactly about the 25.5.
And that's the first 3 and out for Wayland. They've struggled a lot in this game on offense, but they haven't had a 3 and out. They've been able to get something going the whole game. And that's the first time that they've just come right out and struck out immediately.
C.J. Collins leads this Lions offense out onto the field after being stalled for no points for the first time today. They had been 4 of 4 on scoring drives. 1st and 10 from the 26. Sends Derek Shelby in motion, going to fake the handoff, roll out to the right, running, looking deep down the field. He's got Jeremy Carr, underthrows it a little bit. Jeremy Carr gets a hand on it, can't complete the catch.
Almost. Great job by Carr to adjust behind him, make a play on the ball. We've seen the Lions go deep a number of times in this game, not necessarily their big game plan usually. Jeremy Carr almost gets a hand on it with 2 defenders right there in his face.
Typically, if we see the Lions go deep, it's down the middle of the field to Justin Allen running that post pattern. But this time, trying to use that sideline. It's worked with Dotson. But other than that, Jeremy Carr double covered there, but Collins now 2nd and 10. Lowry in the backfield looking to his left. It's brought in by Dotson. Goes down to a knee to make the grab. Will they give him enough for a first down? It looks like it's going to be just shy.
Now one referee's motioning forward, but he was.
And they are going to give him the first down.
Just enough. And yeah, it's going to look like the ball was just, the nose of it's going to be right where the first down line was going to be. So a quick 10-yard pass up to the 41-yard line. We've got a nice little score update from you from not NAIA football, the Red River Shootout up in Dallas. OU leads Texas 7-0. I'm sure there's a lot of people watching this who have an interest in that game as well.
Picture in picture. Collins back to pass after the play action. Steps up in the pocket, going deep again, gets killed. Jeremy Carr comes back for it and makes the grab. Jeremy Carr, brilliant job of adjusting down to the 21-yard line.
This is one of those that's so underthrown it actually works to your advantage, as Collins is going to get drilled on this pass. It's so underthrown that all the corners overrun it, and it's Carr who's looking up and says, oh, I need to slam the brakes on, run back 3 yards for it.
Nearly an impossible play for a defensive back to defend is that short throw, the underthrown ball, because you're going one way, there's nothing you can do. You're beat.
And you're told to keep your eyes on the wide receiver, obviously. That's the only thing you can do. You're not supposed to turn around and look at the ball and get lost. And so until the ball gets there,
Collins, play action again. Lowry picks up the block, steps up, thrown out to his left. Bryant Dotson goes down low to get it. Official in the middle of the field calls it incomplete.
It's going to get dribbled in there. And great job by Lowry, though, sealing off that block, picking up the blitz. CJ just unable to get that ball in there. Yeah, it's going to come out wobbly and skip in for sure.
Collins doing a good job of moving his feet and moving around in the pocket today. Not something we see him do that often. We see him take off a lot of the times, but today being patient, good pocket awareness, this time stepping up. He sends Roderick Brown in motion here on second down, and this is going to go against Wayland Baptist as they jump off sides.
Being rolled a false start, actually.
False start.
Oh, wow.
On number 61, the center offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Dane Macklin, not often you see a center called for a false start.
Must have flinched a little bit too much because Wayland did come across the line, but it must have been because of a little bit of a flinch up at the front by Macklin.
2nd and 15 now for the Lions, and CJ Collins with JP Lowry to his left. Sends Brown in motion again. Takes a snap, fakes the handoff, back to pass, steps up again. There is a flag. Collins is going to take off, make a man miss, and get taken down at about the 20-yard line. There is a flag on the play.
And that is in the area of what you're usually going to see holding on the offensive line. Obviously, wait on the call. As, yeah, CJ fighting for every available yard on that one. Interesting to see on a second down play like that how much fighting he was doing to pick up those yards. And yeah, they are going to walk this one back. It'll be another 10 yards.
We have an illegal formation.
Oh.
Number 77 was not on the line of scrimmage. He was too far back in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
So it's just a 5-yard penalty, but it will erase a nifty little run by CJ.
The call on Devin Petty. Not something you see from the very good veteran left tackle for the SAGU Lions.
Yep, just kind of getting lost there on the field, being too far back.
Was an all-conference player last season. I spoke with him in the offseason. He says he's shooting for All-American or bust this season, so not a typical play you see from Petty. Collins looks one way, goes back the other, and hits Dotson right in the hands, and he can't bring it in.
And that's a shame because he had blockers out in front of him, and I think he knew it. I think he knew he had to turn his body to his left here and make a cut to the sideline, and I think he was thinking about that cut and that turn before he had the ball safely brought in. So now big third and long here from the 32. The wind is at your face, although it has died down a little bit from where it was pregame. You definitely want to pick up some yards here to make a TH field goal a lot easier. Obviously, if you have a chance to get all 20, go get it. But definitely have some routes drawn up to pick up 10 or 15.
Collins back to pass, looking deep. And he actually goes over to his man, Jeremy Carr. No good. And SAGU is going to bring up 4th down here. And we'll see how they decide to attack this. And it looks like...
And that's David Garza on the coverage, just batting that ball down. We'll see. I imagine you're going to punt this.
Yeah, Montiel is made his way out to the field.
You've got an opportunity to really pin Wayland deep. You've got a wind in your face, so a field goal is going to be really tough. A missed field goal or a blocked field goal could be a big game-changing moment. Trust that Maverick isn't going to shank 2 punts in a row. Try to pin Wayland deep. Just keep this going.
Montiel back to punt. Rolling out to his right, that rugby-style punt, looking just for that corner down there, and it goes out of bounds again. We'll see if they mark this inside the 20. The official has walked past the 20 and still walking at the 25.
That's a 7-yard punt.
Maverick Montiel not finding success in the punting game today.
He has been excellent all year long, but both of these have just come off of his foot wrong. And yeah, that's a situation where a good rugby-style punt can roll inside the 5, Instead, it's going to sail out of bounds at the 25. It's only going to net 7 yards. So Wayland will start with average field position.
Campos back to pass. The defensive line for the Lions got some pressure, but he steps up, completes the pass across the middle of the field, brought down by Matt Williams, but he's got his man, Jeremiah Eaton, for the Wayland Baptist first down. And just like that, Wayland Baptist, after stopping SAGU on back-to-back possessions and getting a field goal, pick up a quick first down.
Campos does a good job staying in the pocket until it collapses, stepping up and making the throw.
And they hand it off to Romero, and Romero is brought down quickly by Kobe Roach and Matt Leiter.
It's going to be a loss of 2. Real quick adjustment. I think they saw that coming after the big pass on first down, reading it immediately, wrapping them up.
Kobe Roach, rather, solo tackle for the safety.
2nd and 12.
Campos back to pass, 3 out to his right. He steps up, looking across the middle of the field again. He's got his man, and he's got room to run. Brought down from behind by Elijah Pruitt, but he finds it again, his leading receiver, Jeremiah Eaton.
Yeah, Eaton's just going to run a crossing pattern here and end up wide open over the middle of the field. Not a Lion really near him. Great awareness by Campos getting that ball. Now they're back in SAGU territory. At the 39-yard line, we are under 4 minutes to play in the half. Wayland trying to put some points up on the board and make this a lot more interesting than it currently is.
Campos hands it off to Romero. Romero makes a man miss. Missing a couple arm tackles. Romero trying to get past Golden, but he's going to carry some Lions defenders.
That's a loose ball. That's a loose ball.
And he ends up fumbling, but the Lions recover. Flag on the play. Michael Romero fighting for every single yard, and the Lions are able to punch the ball out.
We have flags all over the play. We have an injured player down. It's going to take a minute to sort out everything that's happened here. I think the flag is going to come after the fumble. Romero with an amazing run, breaking tackles, hurdling guys that are on the ground.
There you see Romero, his jersey being pulled, but Matt Williams is able to come in across the body and hit that right arm, and that is indeed a fumble picked up by Landon Jones. And Michael Romero, after a huge run.
On the return, we have an illegal block in the back. Number 92 on the intercepting team. It's going to be first down.
So another turnover in SAGU territory on a great run. One of those situations where you've probably just gone a little bit too far. You're getting too vulnerable. You're getting held up. Watch this run, cutting inside, breaking a tackle around the legs, breaking an arm tackle at the waist. Gonna come inside here, break another arm tackle. You got your jersey held on, and then the jersey's pulled back. You're getting pulled back. That exposes the ball, and like you said, coming in is Matt Williams just to jar it loose. And it's Landon Jones with the recovery and the return, but the return won't matter.
Ricky Bickham now bounces it to the outside. He's got some room. Dotson throwing some good blocks for him, tries to cut it back, but is met and knocked out of bounds. It's just shy of the 30, and Ricky Bickham doing some long runs of his own.
And gets you out of the shadow of your own end zone. You're set up at your own 7 or 8 yard line after the penalty. He picks up 22 yards up to the 29-yard line. Got some breathing room. You got 3 minutes left on the clock. Defense after forcing their 3rd turnover of the game. Just do it. Like I said, once they cross the 50, everything clamps down.
Here is Bickham. He's met at the line. He's going to get dropped for a loss of about 1.5 yards. Bringing up 2nd and call it 11.
And those 3 turnovers, one happened inside your own 10. The other 2 have happened deep inside SAGU territory. So these are not middle of the field turnovers that you can maybe dismiss out of the back of your mind, or deep passes. These are turnovers that have taken the points off the board for you or given free points to the Lions.
Collins now 2 out wide to his right. He's still got Bickham in the backfield with him. And he's going to hand it off to Bickham, and Bickham looking for room up the middle, finds about 4, but gets brought down, and it's going to be 3rd and about 7 here for this Lions offense.
Wayland gets on the ball afterwards. They say they want it. The ref is going to say Bickham is down. And it does look like from that viewpoint that he was definitely down before the ball popped loose. So now 3rd and about 7 after back-to-back runs by Bickham. Under 2 minutes to play in the half. Lions have 2 timeouts, but the clock really not a factor right now. They're actually going to let it run. Obviously, when you're up 28-3, you know, you have that luxury to say, you know what, we're going to run the clock and try to get to the half.
Collins fakes a handoff back to pass. Can't find anybody. He's going to roll out and look for Roderick Brown, but overthrown as Collins looked to maybe get a quick pass off, but everything was covered. A good job to tuck it and maybe try to make something happen with his feet, but good job by the Pioneers.
Another more great coverage and a good job of getting on C.J. Collins early. Don't let him think about scrambling for those yards. So for the 3rd straight time, SAGU will punt after the first 4 drives all were touchdowns. They will be punting for their 3rd straight drive. So the Wayland Baptist defense has indeed showed up.
And if you're Montiel here, you cannot afford another shanked punt. He's going to roll out to his right and get it away. And it's going to land actually in bounds this time and bounce down at about the 33 where it's stopped by Sam Northey.
I think that's been his problem more than anything. It hasn't really been the distance. We've seen the punt go far enough. He's just, when he does that rollout to the side, the referee is watching the ball, and the moment it crosses the line in the air, that's where it's dead, and he's been kicking it too close to the sideline. So now the Pioneers take over at their own 32-yard line. They're going to have a minute and call it 28 seconds, 2 timeouts, and boy, oh boy, do they need some points. You've had 3 turnovers in this half. You've had a big turnover on the last drive. You've had drives peter out in SAGU territory. If you can get some points and go into the half, only down 18.
Fumbled snap, and he's going to get the handoff anyway, and Matt Leiter's able to track him down from behind, and that play was busted from the get-go.
Yeah, once you drop the snap, there's just no recovering, especially when you got guys like Matt Leiter coming in. They are not going to let that mistake go unnoticed.
2nd and 12 with just about a minute of play coming up here. Another bad snap. Campos back to pass. Matt Leiter giving chase, clips the ankle, and Matt Leiter gets his 2nd sack of the game. Bringing up 3rd and long.
I think it's safe to say that Matt Leiter is definitely the leading sack holder in SAGU territory by this point.
He's got the record. He's now got 3.5 sacks on the season, but a good job in pursuit. Just get that hand out there and clip that right ankle of Campos.
And Wayland goes hurry up. They go right back out on the field with the 3rd and long coming.
SAGU brings 3. Kobe Roach decides to step up. He completes the pass across the middle, and it's going to net a 1st down as Kobe Roach on the delayed blitz, rather.
And that's Eaton again. Yeah, the blitz coming. 3rd and long. Eaton with the crossing pass over the middle again. And yeah, getting thrown to the ground is Campos. Completes it up near the 50-yard line. In a 28-3 game, Jeremiah Eaton's having a pretty solid ball game at the moment.
26 seconds left to play. That is Wayland Baptist's 2nd timeout. So they've only got 1 left here in the first half. But a great play to go no huddle, get that snap off, and ultimately it gets them that 1st down. And they've got a chance to get some points here. We've seen their kicker. He knocked in a 50-yarder earlier this game, so he's got the leg to get, if they get, I think, around that 35-yard line, or rather the 33 to 35-yard line, they're going to feel pretty confident with the wind at his back.
And as you may have noticed, the wind has picked up.
Absolutely.
The wind has definitely picked up over the last few minutes here. So you probably need to even have a legitimate shot into the 15 yards.
Yeah.
So you have a timeout left, 26 seconds, another 15 yards, and you can give Martinez a shot at it. What would essentially turn this into a 3-score game. That would actually be a pretty big field goal. It would turn what is currently a 4-score game at 25 points into a straight 3-score game.
And they've stopped the Lions on 3 straight offensive possessions. Campos steps up. He's going to get sacked. Oh, I was going to say he's going to get sacked. Stays on his feet long enough to get that pass off. And a great play by Danny Campos.
Yeah, throws it in the neighborhood of Jarrell Peterson, so it's going to be close enough that there will be no intentional grounding. Clearly has a receiver in his sights. Yeah, Campos with some nifty maneuvering on this drive, but the play burns 12 seconds off the clock. So there are 15 seconds left now. Pretty much only have time for 2 more plays, even with that timeout.
Campos in the shotgun, 3 out wide to his right. 1 running back in the backfield, back to pass. And he is running for his life, just has to get it away, and it does go out of bounds, and that brings under 10 seconds left here in half number 1, 3rd and 10. And you got to think at this point they may have to consider just taking a shot at the end zone.
I think you still have enough time that if you can run a quick crossing pattern like what you've seen with Eaton already in this game, maybe burn 7 or 8 seconds, call that timeout, just get down quickly. You still have that timeout, so you have usage of the entire field. However, they're going to go 4 wide, so they may just be thinking, wind at your back, heave it 51 yards to the end zone, and hope for the best.
The Lions with essentially 3 safeties back there. Campos back to pass. Deep drop. He's going to look for the end zone. He gets it off, and he's got enough distance, and it is incomplete with no time left on the clock.
He had a man and an opportunity.
He'll decline it.
It
of
was
holding
close.
On the offense, number 77. Penalty is declined. Halftime.
It wouldn't have mattered anyways. Had a miracle been completed there, it wouldn't have mattered.
They made it exciting, at least to end the half there.
So SAGU heads into the locker room ahead 28-3, and they did all the damage in the first quarter. Scored 28 points in the first quarter. Wayland outscores them 3-0 in the second quarter, but the first half clearly belongs to the SAGU Lions here on this homecoming Saturday.
But you've got to feel good if you're Wayland Baptist after that abysmal first quarter. They come out and throw a shutout in quarter number 2.
The defense has definitely stepped up. The defense has looked a lot better over the last 15 minutes.
Our sideline reporter, Kristen Urban, is with head coach Frank Tristan. We'll see how he has to feel after that very good first half for his Lions team. Kristen, what's Coach Tristan have to say for us?
Thanks, Adam. Coach Tristan, you had 2 defensive picks, a fumble recovery, and your offense was on a roll. How do you feel about the level of play in this first half?
Our offense has played really well, and fortunately, we got bailed out. They've been chunking yards on us, and we need to fix some things because they've really bailed us out. We got a couple turnovers, but man, I'm a little concerned with we need to fix some things at halftime here.
What are you going to be telling your guys in the locker room?
Well, we need to get back to the basics. We're just kind of looking in the backfield too much instead of reading our keys defensively. We just need to cut out the little mistakes. So we got to be better.
Thanks for your time, Coach Tristan. Back to you, Adam.
Thank you, Kristen. And there you hear it, bailed out. And I 100% agree with Coach Tristan.
So many huge penalties, turnovers. Yeah, you take away a couple of personal fouls, a couple of holding penalties, a loose ball here and there. This could easily be a 17-14 Wayland Baptist lead. So he knows that, you know, obviously luck favors the prepared, and they've been prepared for this game. But there have been some bounces go their way. You're never, you know, when you're up 28-3, you know you're playing well, but probably fortunate to be up by 25 for sure.
We know Coach Henderson will make adjustments here at halftime, but in the meantime, don't go anywhere. Of course, Tim, we mentioned it's homecoming week, so there's going to be some homecoming festivities here during halftime. So stay tuned. We'll get to crown a homecoming king and queen, so you'll get to see that live right here on the SAGU Sports Network.